So it should be no surprise to you that real estate can be a very difficult business. I see it all the time, agents who are building an amazing business, but they keep making this one mistake and they end up falling out of the business. Today, we're gonna go over the top mistake I see established agents make consistently that pushes them out of the business. We're gonna go over how you can avoid this as well so you can grow a healthy real estate business. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Steve Milikovich with the Three Rivers Real Estate team based out of the Twin Cities of Minnesota. I'm a multi-million-dollar real estate producer. I produce content for agents who are just looking to level up their game. Whether they're new or a veteran, I want to produce content for you. And here's the thing, there's no strings attached. I'm not trying to sell you on coaching. I'm not trying to get you to subscribe. Do anything like that. I just want to produce content so that you can be a better agent, because here's the thing, when there are more better agents in the market, we all succeed. So today we're gonna go over the biggest thing that I see established agents do wrong that gets them pushed out of the business. And it has to do with treating your business like a business. Now, like I said, I'm talking about established agents now. Now, if you're a newer agent, it can be hard getting going. This isn't for you. This is people who are already producing agents who are maybe in the business for a year or two or just getting their groove and then they get out. The statistics are staggering for realtors, within those first 2 years and even those first 5 years. It's a lot like a small business. A lot of small businesses tend to fail in the first 5 years, and real estate is no different. The biggest thing I see is people just aren't treating their business like a business. You are an entrepreneur and you are a realtor. You are building a small business, and it might even grow to where you have employees, but you got to get there first, and you have to be tracking your business and your expenses. And I know that is such a hard thing for a lot of us realtors to do. We're extroverts who are going out, meeting with people who love houses and great salespeople potentially. Maybe we understand houses very well, but we may not understand numbers and bookkeeping great. So this video today is gonna be all about, hey, how do you set up your business to pay yourself first? Do you have a retirement fund? So you have your business moving in the right direction and you can weather some of these storms that we have in real estate where you have down markets or ebbs and flows within our business. So how do you weather all that so you can be an agent for a long time and have an amazing career? The first expense you really need to pay attention to, and it's the one that I see agents more or less forget about, are your taxes. For the most part, if you're in real estate, you're an independent contractor. You're getting paid on a 1099 basis, which means you are not having taxes being taken out of your paycheck on a regular basis. And I see agents so many times get into tax season and they had a good year or they didn't have as many expenses this year from the year before, and April comes around and, oh crap, I don't have enough money to pay my bills. I need to go close some transactions real quick just to pay my taxes. And then when you're doing that, you're not paying your normal bills. So number one thing you need to do, don't forget about your taxes. And even before that, I should rewind just a little bit. One of the biggest tips I can give you in treating your business like a business is opening up multiple either checking or savings accounts so you can start taking your commissions and putting them in different spots. Too many agents try to commingle all their funds into just a regular checking account that they're paying their rent out of, their mortgage out of, they're paying groceries out of. And you can't do this. You need to treat this like a business. You should have a business account set aside, so you can track your business expenses and it's a lot easier to write them off. You're more likely going to get audited if you are trying to pull things out of your personal account, right? It's just a lot cleaner to have a business checking account put aside. You should have another checking account for your taxes as well. This should be in a different bank potentially, so you're not even really looking at it. And every single time you have a transaction, take 30% and go throw it in that account. Now, your tax bracket might be different. I'm talking from Minnesota where we have a 9% state income tax as well. Your state might not have that, but talk with your CPA, see what your normal tax rate is based off of your income and where you're projected to go from your income. Every transaction, take that percentage, put it in an account. It can be a savings account, it can be a checking account. Ideally, you're getting some interest built off of this, right? But put it away that you don't see it. Like I said, open an account in a different place that you have your normal personal accounts. So when you're logging in, you're not seeing that, oh yeah, you have 10 grand sitting there that you might be tempted to use for whatever reason, going, oh, that's all right, I have another closing coming up, I'll make that 10K, I'll put it right back in there. Don't go down that slippery slope. Take that money, put it over there. And here's the thing, if you put more money in there than you normally need, and you have, an excess at the come tax season, there's your tax refund. All right, as 1099 entrepreneurs, you normally don't get a tax refund. It's usually a tax bill, right? So this is your kind of way of getting a tax refund, that, hey, you get there, April 15th comes around, all your taxes are taken care of, you have some extra money in that fund, use that as your tax refund. But you have to put this aside so that you're not in a bad spot coming into April. And when we look at the cyclical nature of real estate, April 15th, that's right as the market is starting to heat up. So you might be coming off a 2-3 month stretch where you don't have any transactions, you don't have any closings. So it's really important that you are setting money aside so that if you do have a little bit of a slower winter, that you can still pay your tax bills and you're not getting put behind early in the year trying to pay that stuff off and try to pay catch up the entire year, because odds are you're going to find yourself in a really bad situation. You might need to get another job to supplement to get going. And once you go down that slope, probably not going to be a realtor for much longer. Now, once you have money set aside for your taxes, you should probably figure out how much you're going to put back into your business. And again, another thing I see realtors do so much is they forget to put money into their business. You should have a percentage from every transaction that you leave in your business, so that if you are doing marketing or you're doing client appreciation events or client gifts, that you have money in your account. So you can do this even when business is ebbing and flowing, right? So if you're doing a 6-month marketing campaign or a 1-year marketing campaign, if you have 2 or 3 months where you don't have any transactions, you need to have funds in your business to cover that marketing or to cover your website. There's nothing worse than running out of money, having to shut down your website or having to stop doing marketing because you don't have the funds appropriated for it. I typically recommend most people put anywhere between 10 and 20% of every transaction back into their business. And you need to budget this depending on the size of your business and your company and how big you want to grow. For some people, 20% might be way too much. For others, it might not even be enough. If you're a team lead where you're trying to grow a team, you need to generate leads, and that costs money, and you have to have some pretty long marketing campaigns when you're doing that. You need to have 6 months, year and a half, 2-year marketing campaigns with CRMs, potentially with VAs you need to pay and assistants you need to pay. So you need to have funds into your business to make that happen, depending on where you want it to go. At the end of the day, you got to kind of determine where you want your business to go and decide what percentage you want to leave in there. But again, you should have a separate account that you're using for business purposes. A, it's easier to track come tax season. B, you're not going to commingle stuff. C, you're going to have those funds specifically put there. Every transaction, you're putting, again, 10, 20% into this account, and you're using it for business purposes only. Whether it happens to be, again, your marketing campaigns, client gifts, client appreciations, whatever it happens to be, but you need to appropriate those funds over there and treat this like a business. And yes, when you're having a good month or you're in the thick of summer and a lot of money is coming into that account, leave it in that account, because you're going to need it if things start to slow down, right? So right now, we're in a market right now where interest rates are extremely volatile and months aren't as predictable as they normally are. And I have a feeling Q4 of this year, 2023, might be slower than usual. So I'm making sure to leave my marketing fund nice and slush, so that when things do start turning around, I have the funds to really hit marketing hard come spring season, right? If I'm not appropriating my funds appropriately and I don't have a marketing budget set aside, I might run out of money come spring, and spring is when you really need to be putting money into things. So if you're running out in the winter months, that's not great. So have a budget when your marketing is, have a budget for what you're doing with your client gifts, and make sure you're sticking to it and you're putting appropriate amount of funds back into your business to grow and help sustain your business. And this is even if you are just a sphere-based realtor. If all you do is you're on Instagram and that's how you get all your business, I still recommend having some funds over there for your CRM. Or if you decide to do a client appreciation event or do something outside the box. You have funds set aside to do this, right? If you're doing one thing and it's working really well, it might not always be working well for you, and you might need to change some stuff up as the market shifts. These low inventory markets, you gotta work harder to get the same amount of business. So whether you were just posting once or twice on Instagram, that's how you get all of your business. This year you might need to do a client appreciation event. You might need to host some type of social event to meet people or just get in touch with your sphere in a different manner than you have previously, because as the inventory comes down and if rates stay high, there's just less transactions to happen, and it's harder to get business. You can still do it. You can still grow business. Our business is still growing this year, but we're having to work a lot harder. Our margins are becoming thinner. We're having to spend more money to get the same amount of leads, and that's what you would expect in a market like this. So make sure you're budgeting appropriately and putting funds aside to take care of that. All right, now that you have an account set up for your taxes, an account set up for your business, don't forget to pay yourself next. Again, take some of those funds, put it into your personal account that's going to cover your mortgage, your groceries, some fun money, whatever you need to have there, but don't forget to pay yourself first. I see this a lot of times too, where agents are taking all their money and putting it back into their business, and then they forget to pay their mortgage, or they forget to, enjoy it a little bit along the way. Again, this is all very dependent on your business and where you want to be in life, but make sure you're paying yourself first, and that includes a retirement fund. We're in real estate. We don't have a pension. It's up to us to put money into our IRAs or into the stock market or to investment properties. My last video is on why realtors need to be investing in real estate. You need to have funds available to do that. And again, you should have a separate account for A, paying yourself, and then B, for your investments or your retirement account, whatever path you want to go into. But you need to have those funds put aside. You need to be actively investing in them so that, hey, you know what? Someday, when we've been doing this for 20, 30 years, we can sit down and we can actually retire. No one wants to be working until, into their 60s, 70s, or 80s. Realtors, especially, I do not want to be opening doors when I'm 80. It's not a goal of mine. So I'm putting money aside. I'm putting it into investment properties. I'm putting it into my IRA. I am putting it into syndication properties, but I am taking that money the second it hits my account and I am putting it into a special fund. That's my retirement fund. And again, you got to pay attention to that. Got to break it down based off what your goals and your needs are, but don't forget to do that. Now, we've talked a lot about putting money back into your business, and you have to track that money. I do see a lot of realtors put money back into their business, and they do great things. Maybe they're doing neighborhood flyers, or maybe they're advertising on Google, but they don't track those expenses. Every dollar you put into your business, you have to be able to track. If I am putting $1 into Google Ads, how many dollars am I getting back out? If you're losing money on it and you've never converted a Google lead, then you want to move your money somewhere else. Maybe you want to put it into Realtor.com, Zillow, maybe you want to revamp, make your own website. Whatever you want to do, it's okay, but you need to be able to track where I'm putting my money and where my business is coming from. And a lot of realtors are sphere-based. So you might need to, it might be a little bit harder to do that. But again, if you're getting referrals from your sphere, it makes it a little easier, which is why anytime somebody calls me and they say, hey, heard you're a great realtor, love to work with you. I always ask, where did you hear I'm a great realtor? Did you hear it from my Instagram? Did you hear it from an ad? Did you get referred from somebody? And I want to know if I'm getting referred from my sphere or my past clients, because I put money into my sphere and my past clients. I do door drops twice a year. I spend a lot of time with my sphere as well. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. But I want to know my time and my money is being utilized appropriately. So when I do get a new leader, a new client, I got to figure out where they came from. I think too many realtors are just so like, oh, I got a lead. I got someone new to work with, and they don't figure out where that person came from. But you got to figure that out so you can track and make sure that where you're putting your time and your money is coming back to you. And everything and a marketing standpoint has a different lead cycle. Sometimes if you're working on Instagram and you're putting posts up once or twice a day, it could take you a year to 2 years before you ever get a lead, and that's okay. Other things are different. If you're putting money into Google, I would expect a pretty quick ROI on that, probably less than a year to get a lead. So even longer for mailers. So you got to kind of factor all that in. But again, you have to be able to track where you're putting your time, where you're putting your money, and where that ROI is coming from, or you'll never know what is working and what isn't working within your business. Now, when you're tracking your expenses, I said you have to be able to bring it back to an ROI. And one of the biggest expenses I see realtors forget to track or just kind of forget about is how much you're paying your brokerage. Now, we are realtors, we have to hang our license somewhere, and there is some value in that. But if you're paying tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to a broker, what are you getting back in return, and how is it helping you grow your business? Now, for some of you, it might be worth paying a lot to a big brokerage to have a lot of office space, and that's how you operate, and that's where you close business. That's awesome. I know personally, when I started tracking this metric of how much I was paying my brokerage, I was astonished at literally the tens of thousands into the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I was paying every year to be where I was. And I tracked back to how much money am I making on that, and or how much value am I getting for that? It just didn't make any sense. And you tend to lose track of it as a realtor sometimes because it's coming out, before the check hits you, or you really aren't paying attention to, where it needs to go, or you don't even know what's out there. But when I started tracking this metric, again, I was astonished, which is one of the reasons why I moved to a virtual brokerage like Rio Broker, where I am literally getting paid to be here. After you cap, there are a lot of stock options that are doing really well, and I'm literally getting paid to be here, and I'm still getting a ton of value being with this brokerage. And with that extra money that was in my business, I was able to invest that in my business and grow my business this year in what is typically a down year for most agents that I'm talking to. You're seeing transactions down 20%. I'm seeing most agents down 20%. We're up 25, almost 30% year over year from where we were, due in part to a lot of the money that we were saving, able to reinvest back into our business, do more marketing, do some more attraction, able to grow our business, being part of more of a virtual brokerage where, hey, we're still paying them a little bit, but they have incentives that if you overperform, you get all of that back plus some. So, depending on where you're at, virtual brokerages, honestly, they're not right for everybody. But for a lot of agents who are growing a business, you kind of get to a spot where you really need to pay attention to how much you're paying into your brokerage, what your ROI is, and if it's really helping you grow your business or not. Or is that money better off in your pocket so you can grow your business however you need to do it? So those are the main things that I see from established agents who just aren't making it. I said, it really comes down to treating your business like a business. And that's not easy for a lot of us. But if you sit down and spend some time with your CPA, or you get a coach or something that hopefully they can walk you through a lot of it, I would be happy to have a conversation with any one of you. My contact information is always below. Give you some more tips and tricks on what I've seen, or some best practices to do that beyond what's here. But like I said, for the most part, set up multiple bank accounts, earmark them: personal, retirement, business, taxes. Move money the second it hits your account. Make sure you get it out into those accounts. Pay attention to it, track it, and stick to those numbers when you start tracking things, and you should be in a really great spot. And I hope you are, and you're able to build an awesome real estate business and do this for as long as you want to be able to do it.